Hello students, welcome to another lesson. Today we're going to be learning how to do checkmate when you have a king and a queen and your opponent has just one king. This is going to be just as important as a two-rook checkmate because it's going to allow you to close so many games and you're going to be using it a lot from now on in your career. So this is something that you really have to learn and you have to learn it the right way. So let's get to it. The first thing we need to understand in order to do this checkmate is how to do checkmate from this position. This is going to be the final position that we're going to have right before we deliver checkmate. So feel free to pause the video and try to come up with a move that puts this king in checkmate right now. Well, there are a few ways to do this. The first one is just putting your queen in front of your opponent's king. By doing that, that's checkmate. The king cannot capture you because of the king, and the king also cannot go anywhere because our queen is controlling all of those squares. The other way to do it is by simply going to the back rank. So you could go queen e8, check, and then the king cannot go up because of your own king. And of course, it's the same thing if you go queen d8, checkmate. Now, let me also change this a little. Let's say I put my king over here. Notice that even though my king is not right in front of this king, I'm still controlling g7. So I could still put my queen in front of this king, and that's checkmate. And this is the pattern. Queen in front of the king, protected by the king. So that's checkmate. Also, let me just go back here and now put this king here. Let's say we get to this position and we also have to do checkmate in one move. Well, the same move works. Put the queen here, it's diagonal, but it also works. Check, the king cannot go anywhere, and we have the helper. So feel free to rewind this part and really understand how to do checkmate here. Now the other component to this checkmate has to do with what we call the knight jump position. And let me explain what that is. When we put these two things together, then everything becomes so easy. So the knight jump position is basically when you put your queen as if she was a knight, as if she was attacking like a knight. So if you think of a knight right here, that knight would be attacking the king. So this is what we call the knight jump position. This doesn't mean that the queen is attacking the king because the queen doesn't move like that, but it's going to help us corner this king. Like if we took it from here, which is already easy because he's at the edge, the king has to move here, and just by continuing to do the knight jump position, notice how that king has nowhere to go other than the corner, right? So this is a technique that we use to corner the king. So now that we understand these two parts, like how to do checkmate at the end, and now that we understand what the knight jump position is, let's get to use it. So I'm going to give you this position, and this is the difficult part. How do we make the king go from the center of the board all the way to the edge? Because once in the edge, we know what to do. So we're going to be using the same principles we learned in the two-rook checkmate. First, I want to decide what edge I want the king to go towards. He could go up, down, to the left, or to the right. Like I mentioned in the past, I like the king to go to the opposite side of where my king is. If my king is on this side of the board, I want him to be pushed to the other side. And once I know that, like I want him to go up, I'm going to set the wall of fire right before him. So I call it the wall of fire, but basically we're just cutting the king off. So this allows me to control the king. He can never access this part of the board. And then little by little, that fire will sort of expand, making the king go to that edge. Once in the edge, we know how to finish him. So let me do it again. I'm going to start by cutting the king off. I put the wall of fire right before him. And then once the king moves, I'm going to start doing the knight jump position. And you already know what that is. So what do? I put the queen right here. If there's something that you have to remember from here, is the knight jump position. I know that in a few weeks, you're going to forget every detail about this, but if you just remember the knight jump position, sooner or later you're going to corner the king by just doing this. So what this is doing is it allows me to keep the wall of fire, and it helps me take this square away from the king. Now, the king has to either go towards the edge, that's what I want him to do, or if he wants to stay in the center, he's going to go here. Well, I keep getting closer, but not too close, and I'm doing the knight jump position. So at the end of the day, the knight jump position is just for you to remember the pattern. So he moves again, I keep getting closer, he moves again, closer, knight jump position, knight jump position. Now, once we get this far, he cannot stay on this rank anymore. He's forced to jump to the next rank. And when he does that, look, right now he has 3 squares here. When he jumps, now he has only 2 squares. So that tells us we're making progress. The moment the king jumps, our queen has to jump as well. But guess what? We keep the knight jump position. So now we bring the wall of fire to the next rank. So we're making progress here. If the king goes down again, well, now he's 1 square away, and we jump as well. And we keep doing the knight jump position. If he doesn't want to get to the edge yet, doesn't matter, I wait. I keep doing the knight jump position, he goes down, and finally when he gets to the edge, we need to make sure that he never comes back up. So I'm going to bring my wall of fire here one last time, and then at this point the king is trapped. We have almost the same position we had at the very beginning. So the king is at the edge and my queen is not letting him do anything. So he has to go back and forth. My king didn't do anything, it was just the queen. Now there's only one detail here. We cannot continue to do the knight jump position once the king gets to the corner. You have to make sure that he has 1 square to breathe, to go back and forth. If I do this move now, this is going to be stalemate. And we know now that stalemate is a draw. We don't win the game. So you see, I go here, he has nowhere to go, and he's not in check. So for that reason, we need to make sure that he has 1 square to go. I remember when I first learned this, I got stalemate in so many important games because I forgot this detail. And what I used to do is once I got this far, not only did I give him an extra square to breathe, I would just go far back here. I kept the wall of fire, but I would just make sure that he had enough space to move on the edge. We don't have to do that. Just make sure that he has one. And now, look at this. The only thing I want is to put my queen in front of that king to do checkmate. But we know we cannot do that unless we have a helper. And that's the only reason why we bring this king over. Like if I did this move right now, well, it's check, but he's going to take me. So I need to make sure this king is close by. And I start bringing the king over. Believe it or not, guys, I've seen people at this point bring the king this way. Doesn't make sense. He needs to be here to help the queen. So we go there as fast as we can. Notice that the black king cannot escape it. He's back and forth waiting for us to finish him. So we keep going up. And then finally, when my king gets here, he's going to support the queen. Now, king goes here. We got to that position that you already know, which is the checkmate in one move. So we go queen g7, checkmate. Even if I had done this move and the king goes here, again, I'm not in front of him, but I'm still supporting the queen. So queen g7 and checkmate. So this is how we do the king and queen checkmate. Now I'm going to take it back. I'm going to do it in a different direction because like I said with the two rook checkmate, I really need you to know how to do it from any position. So now let's take it from here just to practice one more time. Notice that this time you don't have a queen, and this is to highlight the importance of this checkmate. Sometimes you don't even have a queen, you just have an extra pawn, but you manage to promote that pawn into a queen, and then you know exactly how to finish the game. So the goal is that after this class, you look at a position like this and you say, okay, I know how to do this. I don't have to stress about it. So I'm going to just push my pawn to get a queen. Let's say he goes here. I get my queen. He moves here. And now, same thing. I decide what edge I want him to go towards. In this case, he's really close to this one. So I'm just going to put the wall of fire right before him. So the king is cut off. And now, knight jump position. That's it. Knight jump position. If he goes here, he's getting closer to the edge, so is my queen. If he goes back, I keep doing the knight jump position. And don't worry about it. If you keep doing the knight jump position, sooner or later he gets to the end of the board, and he has no choice but to jump to the next rank or file. And when he does, we bring the wall of fire closer. So now this is a critical moment, and it could be confusing. But once he gets to the corner, we have to make sure that he has a square to come back and breathe and go back and forth. So he's already trapped. The queen did a great job. Now we need the backup in order to do the checkmate. So we bring the king. And then finally, we're going to do the checkmate, just like we learned at the very beginning. Now, some people might forget this or you get confused. Doesn't matter. If you want to bring the king closer, that's it. And then you do this checkmate. It doesn't really matter. But this is the pattern, guys. In a few lessons, we're going to be doing like a review class where you're going to practice this one more time. So that's another chance for you to make sure that you got it. With that said, let me know if you have any questions. I will see you in the next class.